I'd like to call the Board of Trustees meeting together to order on Tuesday, December 17th at approximately 6:10 p.m. In order for everyone to hear all the discussion, please turn off any noisemakers or cell phones you may have. Would you please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Lino,
Here.
Zashki,
Here.
Kadanko,
Here.
Bell, here, Duffy,
Here.
Bordeaux, here, and Baker is excused.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes as published.
Motion that we approve the minutes as published.
Second.
Changes, additions, deletions, comments, grammatical errors,
I'm
remarks,
still
or other
scrolling.
issues? All in favor?
Aye.
Comments and correspondence. Does anybody in the audience care to make a comment about a non-agenda item? Any correspondence that anybody wants to add?
You want me to list what's in the packets, or will you just look at it?
You can listen.
Okay, so there was a letter from the Association of United States Postal Lessors asking if you wanted to become a member of that organization. Then there's a support request from the Sister Bay Liberty Grove Firefighters Association. There's a letter from the League of Wisconsin Municipalities regarding a publication that's entitled So You Want to Be an Elected Official. And there's also a letter from Keith Christ, as well as an email I received from Charlie Hendrickson as an FYI regarding the Vida Legislative Day event, which will be conducted on January 25th.
I'd like to discuss again for a moment that WIDA Day. Is anybody interested in doing that? Where you physically go down to Madison,
What's the date
I'd like
again
to,
on
but
it?
the,
day, something.
yeah,
What you do is you go down and lobby legislators directly, and they like to listen to local elected officials rather than lobbyists. It seems to carry more weight. I've been involved, I think Denise was in the past, the Door and Kewaunee County legislative days. You go down with 4 or 5 issues, and you meet with 30, 40, 50 different legislators. And the county's been very effective doing that over the years. So
Yeah.
when I first went, I was kind of like, man, does this really work or not? It does. It works very well. They usually go with 5 issues, and I would say each of the last 6 or 7 times that I'm aware of, at least 3 or 4 of every issue ends up being approved or passed. Sometimes it takes a year or 2 to get it through, but it's issues that are specific to Door County or the Village of Sister Bay, for instance. And it's worked out very effectively. So if you can get involved and do this for the day, it's a great thing to do, and it would help the village.
So is anyone going, or?
Well, it's there for your information to see if you'd like to go and register, and
are you?
if I can do the date, yes. If the date works out for me, I would definitely go.
What is the date?
January
January
15th,
25th.
Wednesday?
I can make that work.
I'm gonna see if I can get down to it.
And either you go down, and we can decide this amongst ourselves, either you go down the night before, and then you go the whole day and drive home, or you drive down and back the same day. I'd recommend, with the winter and everything else, you don't know what's going on weather-wise, just drive down, stay overnight, enjoy it, and do your lobbying the next day. Be rested.
Sounds good.
So,
I don't know if I could rest the night before in Madison.
well,
I'll
those
take,
who
I'll,
choose to.
I'll take your counsel into consideration.
I think if you're interested in going, they want you to contact, this Tom Strong wants you to contact him, and he'll take care of the registration for you.
There's actually 2 sets of minutes in here, if I'm looking at it right, October 15th and November 5th, just as an FYI.
When we approve the minutes.
Okay. Both of them, got it. All right, it works.
Where are we? Okay, item number 1. Discussion regarding a recommendation from the Plan Commission that the village board pass and adopt resolution 409-121719, which approves a CSM submitted by Deborah Homan and that splits parcel number 1810008312834B, which has been assigned an address of 10315 Orchard Drive into 2 parcels, an 11.6 acre parcel and a 5 acre parcel, as well as ordinance number 269-121719, which authorizes the rezoning of the newly created 5 acre parcel from CS1 Countryside to R3 Large Lot Residence. Consider a motion for action if appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item number 2, discussion regarding the recommendation from the Plan Commission that the village's development agreement template be amended in such a fashion that section 1B contain a provision that if at any time a developer desires to make interior renovations that will affect the number of bedrooms and/or bathrooms any given unit will contain, a referral or referrals must be made to the Plan Commission, but before any of the required work commences, impact fee calculations must be made and related zoning and building permits issued. Consider a motion for action if appropriate.
Do you want me to?
So moved.
Second.
No, I think we talked about this last month already.
Yep.
And Chad had the great idea about the bathrooms.
Yep. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item number 3, consider a motion to approve the 2020-2021 list of election officials as proposed by the village clerk.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item number 4, discussion regarding approval and adoption of Resolution 416-121719, which amends the 2019 budget for the Village of Sister Bay. Consider a motion for action if appropriate.
House cleaning.
Yep.
So moved.
I'll second.
Let me get to the page.
51 if you want to type it.
Yeah, I'm almost there. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 5, reporting county activities from the county supervisor, Dave Lino. Today was County Board Day. There was a number of ordinance and resolutions passed. Most of them were things like multiple leases on hangars at Cherryland airports, which are for multiple years. There was some ordinance cleanup. There was some cleanup on zoning issues. And I'm going to get a copy from Mariah. She had a good overview of all the zoning issues pertaining to a state, a county, a town, a city, a village, with brief explanations of how different permits work in licensing, what conditional use was versus over-the-counter, what staff does versus what has to be brought to the plan commissions or RPCs. And it was a good little overview, and I thought maybe we can bring it here and you can take a look at it and maybe adopt it. It was very easily for a citizen to come in and look at it and read and go, oh, now I understand, or I didn't know that's how this worked. And she just had it all, it was double-sided page, and it just like boom, 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 flowed very nicely.
That'd be an excellent resource that we could have in the admin building, or
Yeah.
we could probably post online.
Yeah. It was
Sounds
good,
great.
good, simple explanations. And
Yeah, that would answer a lot of questions before the phone calls have to
Yeah.
come to us.
So, and then we had an overview in our closed-door session of the annual administrator's evaluation. We jokingly gave him a file box and a gift certificate for Samsonite luggage in case he had to pack his bags and leave when we were done.
Wow.
Oh,
That's good.
that is.
And he took the box. But he will be staying on. We think he's doing a great job for the county, and we're very well pleased with him. So, and that was the gist of today. It was kind of a light menu, similar to this light menu.
Yeah.
But,
Good planning for the light menus.
Unless you have any questions. Report by village administrator on village activities and projects.
So the report's in there. The first thing that I have on there, on the Bluffside Motel, I just have been in conversation with the owner there, and basically what's going on is they just haven't pulled any permitting to do any work on the bluff, and that is in the Bluffside overlay, protection overlay. And so I had them stop work. They did start digging in there, but we have to have engineers review this and make sure that it's even safe for them to be digging into the bluff, because we don't know what fallout could happen from that digging. And so they're in contact with an engineer, or will be in contact with an engineer, and once we get the approval from Robert E. Lee, we'll have them come to Plan Commission, which is what's needed in the Bluffside protection overlay. And then once they get their approval, they can begin work, so.
And the Village View did come before they made their,
They did come, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't here for that, but I
Their
hear
parking-
they-
their parking lot
they-
expansion.
Yep, they did get approvals for that, yes.
so there's something basically across the street doing the same thing on the other side.
Consistency.
Consistency.
Yep, there is. So, and then, everyone can kind of see the Door Hotel construction's underway. You know, I can't be everywhere at once, so if you guys see anything that, you know, is alarming or anything that you guys want to address, you can come to me. I have contacts for their building and their construction team, and we can get in contact with them if there's any questions or concerns going on. I know that's right in the heart of downtown, so I'm sure all eyes will be on this project. It's moving
I have a
forward.
question.
Yeah.
As relates to parks issues recently. So they are scraping into the hillside and cutting back.
Okay.
Are they gonna be putting a retaining wall up against the Sister Bay Bowl property? What are they going to do?
I can find out. I can get in touch, see what's going on there.
We should nail that down before they start
Okay.
finalizing
Undermining
things.
the, right.
Because that's gonna come back.
Okay. That's pretty much it.
I want to know about the new lead operator.
Oh, okay. So Personnel Committee is approved and we have hired a new lead operator. His name is Anthony Mancata. He's coming from Sturgeon Bay. He's a great new resource for us to use. He comes with a lot of experience in water, and especially with water sampling and testing. That was a definite void we needed to fill after we lost an employee there. He's going to be a great fit for the team, and he's been on for about 3 weeks now, doing real well.
Excellent.
Great. Glad it
How-
worked out that
yeah,
soon.
That's soon, that's right. How much experience, how long has he been in the field?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. It was probably in the 7-year range, something like that, but exactly what we were looking for and what Mike laid out for us, our utilities director, is for what he asked for in lead operator.
Great.
Any other questions on balance of the reports, Marina? Review of the financial statements and consideration of a motion to approve the monthly bills. I'll make a motion, we approve the monthly bills in the amount of $621,357.01.
I'll second.
I have a couple questions.
Mhm.
Janelle, I think I remember when you called and Dan and staff thought that maybe they could get those wreaths and put them up on the lamp posts
Mhm.
instead of the, I don't think it's doing the trick.
Oh, okay.
That's my 2 cents.
He thought they looked okay.
Yeah, okay is a good word. I don't know how anybody else
Yeah,
feels
what's that
about
one,
it.
what's that one commercial?
For the camera?
Just okay?
I just don't think it has the same impact. You know, I understand it's easier to put up the wreaths. I don't think they have enough lights on them. It just doesn't make the same impact as wrapping them. My 2 cents. So I don't know if that's something that Parks can, I mean, we bought the wreaths now.
Yeah.
Maybe we can utilize them someplace else, but talk about it at Parks somewhere. I also remembered at, I think it was Finance, when we met with Going Garbage and renewed their contract. We're in the new contract now?
Wouldn't it be January?
I think
Or is it
January.
January?
1.
Okay, so because part of that, or one of our contingencies was that newsletter on how to recycle going out, so.
I know they're working on
Yeah,
it,
they're
they've
doing
been
it.
calling, asking for addresses and things like that. so.
Okay, excellent. And Tasha was out of the office when I called today. On page 65, I think I know what this is. A one-time vendor, shared cost, Forest Glen, that's the apartments behind the old Shopco building.
Yep.
We decided to foot part of that bill for when we changed the water and sewer coming out to the highway, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was very inexpensive for us.
Yeah.
For the amount that we contributed.
And Mike felt it was the fair thing to do.
Yeah, I remember the conversation, agreed to it,
Yeah.
I just wanted to,
I mean, pretty much didn't it come down to that was what the easement amount was that we were pretty much offer the adjoining property owner for an easement that didn't end up going through, so we ended up doing it out through Highway 42. And so that was the cost share that we agreed to participate with, was
Yeah.
what we would have paid for the easement, I think. This. Any other questions on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion regarding matters to be placed on a future agenda referred to a committee, official, or employee.
And Christmas decorations, things to park, I'm assuming.
And there might be others as we go through the committees. Committee reports, admin has not met, admin and comp has not met, common tech has not met, coastal byways.
Coastal Byways next meeting is January 17th, so we have not met since last time.
DCECD,
Can I
I'm sorry.
interrupt
Sure.
momentarily? Okay, so the first one in our packet is ad hoc ice rink.
It's
Can we add that to?
It's on here.
It's
It's
on the
at
list, I
21.
just put
Okay.
it in the packet wrong.
Okay, so it'll be at the end
Yeah.
next time, okay.
Well, okay, so since it's up front of the packet, and somebody might be on that page, let's go ahead and do the ad hoc.
Well, just because, you know,
Yeah.
Somebody.
We met today.
yeah, that's used a lot with me.
I'll scroll back to it.
And not that I had any questions.
We
Okay.
met today, and Cody Bolton, the chair, seems to be doing a fine job. He pointed out some disconnects on preseason setup at the rink. Cody and Bo are going to meet with Park soon to
And we-
rectify those issues.
We've met already.
My suggestion to them was that they should consider creating some sort of a operational guideline that identifies what is rink management's responsibility beginning each season and what is the Parks Department's responsibility, to help prevent this from happening in the future. So, and apparently is both saying they're already on it, so.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, I'm happy to report that several local business owners have been very generous. And to date, $7,836 has been pledged for rink board ads and/or people just outright made donations to help with defray costs at the ice rink. So that was very nice.
Very nice. Okay. DCECD.
Jim Schuster announced that he's leaving today. He'll be with DCDC until the end of January. So there was an emergency meeting today I did not get to. They were talking about finding a replacement for him. So that process will start.
Where's he going?
Arizona.
He's going to Yuma.
Yuma, yeah, Yuma, Arizona.
Wow, that's hot down there.
To do the same kind of thing there, or just to?
He is going to be working on an innovation center, and he's gonna be driving, I believe it's a nonprofit for the community. So the same kind of work, but in a different setting.
Was he here even a year?
18 months.
It seems to be about the longevity of our last couple of DCECD directors.
Yeah.
So I was asking rhetorically, I was making a comment before, is it because Door County is too small of a job, longer term, for somebody in that position that wants to do something bigger? and it's an available thing to get involved with. I mean, he came from Sheboygan,
Yeah.
came to Door County, and now he's going out to Yuma. Caleb Frostman, I think much to everybody's surprise at the time, suddenly became involved in politics
Right.
at the end of his first year, and that was like, okay. So in 2.5 years, we're gonna be working on our third director, which I would imagine has to be difficult logistically with everything that has to be coordinated and put together. They've done good jobs, don't get me wrong. They've done good jobs in the time that they've been there. But hopefully, we can find somebody that is qualified that wants to be around a little bit longer.
Yep. And does
My
it-
feeling is the rest of the staff is far more settled than when Caleb was there.
Okay.
And I think that the director of operations, Tom Strong, I think he'll keep it going. Can't imagine they're gonna have to bring in, Schumacher.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And as a board member, I'm gonna reach out and try and get on the interview team there, get involved and get some input in there. I think that'll be good for Northern Door and Sister Bay.
Okay, good. Finance. It's not bad. Fire.
Meeting was canceled.
Fire District Exploratory has not met. Historical Society.
That's
That'd be
Scott.
All the lighting has not met, but his power's turned on. Library building.
Next meeting is the 14th of January. We did not meet this month.
Marina and Marina Fest.
No meeting.
Is there ice in the marina?
They
Little bit.
haven't started
A little
flooding.
bit, yeah. Actually, I was wondering, I was going by too fast, but it looked like there was ice starting to form, and I didn't notice bubblers, and so I didn't know if,
They should be on.
okay. Like I say, I didn't.
I saw them setting them up.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yes, it's they're pretty chunky and floating around.
I'll double check with Dan tomorrow.
yeah. I am a little concerned there. The Army is saying they're projecting
Yeah.
we're gonna be up potentially a foot or more
Yeah.
next summer over this year.
Mhm.
Yep.
That'll be big
That is
issues.
not good.
Throughout Door County, that'll
Yeah.
be big issues.
Yeah.
Oh, there's gonna be marina shut down.
I mean, did you see what Ephraim's doing?
Yep.
No,
Preparing for,
They put all the boulders in.
put a lot
along,
of.
Erosion control.
Oh, you're
So-
talking along Highway 42? Oh, that was
Yeah.
the state, right?
Yeah,
DOT, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Mackinac Island, they had a road washing.
Right. It was starting to lap
Really?
Yeah.
over in Ephraim on that corner.
Yeah,
Last week when that big north came in, it was starting to lap up onto the side of the road.
Yeah.
That's when they said, oh.
yeah.
I'm a little concerned with the size of the rocks they put in though.
Me too. They
Yeah.
I
weren't very
think a
big.
good northern blow, just.
Exactly, they're
you'll
gonna be on
you'll
the road.
Right, you're gonna be pushing them
Yeah.
off the road.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens, I guess.
Of course, they had to do something quick. Maybe it's just a
Yeah.
temporary
Right.
fix
Yeah.
to.
Right.
Marina Fest had met right before last board meeting, and we won't meet again till April.
Parks,
Didn't meet.
personnel,
No meeting.
plan commission.
Before these minutes go out to Plan Commission, I would like to make a revision on page 83. Starting on 7, Berto noted that she identified the following issues. She is very concerned, on line 12. It appears that the right-of-ways for Fieldcrest Road and South Bay Shore Drive were not included when impervious surface calculations were made by the developers.
Okay.
Can make that change.
Okay. And so I don't know if we want to also reference that according to their plans, they had a little over 50,000 square feet that they were presenting as the lot size, which included the right-of-way calculations, but then did not include those right-of-way calculations for the impervious surface for the 20% green space.
We can note that.
Okay. Line 26, I think it should, rear should be added for 20-foot rear setback.
Okay.
Line 37, street should be entered, street trees, because that's how it's defined in the code.
So it should say states that more street trees?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the big one, because I just want it for the record, is on line 43. somewhere in that paragraph, talking about the lighting plan, we need to state that the lighting plan did not depict the actual building footprint, and the foot candles were not code compliant, and that what was submitted were incorrect. I mean, the whole lighting plan was a disaster. Should never have been presented.
Okay.
So then at least when Plan Commission gets it, those corrections have been addressed.
Along with our discussion on Plan Commission, I would like to nominate an individual for the Plan Commission with a term starting in January and ending in April. Don Howard is coming off effectively immediately. I'm going to nominate Nick Deverly from now until April for that position. And then in April, after the election, we redo committees anyway, and we'll see where we're at with committees. And there probably will be 2 openings on the Plan Commission. So we may or may not ask him to continue, but we'll have an additional opening also at that time. So my nomination is nominate Nick Deverly from now through the April Plan Commission meeting. If I can get a second.
I'll second.
That's not on the, not
It's
on the
not.
agenda here.
Nope.
Doesn't need to be, if you,
Okay.
within the committee reports, you can make motions and
I think it's an excellent choice,
do
Dave.
things, right? And we were laughing about it before, because it's normally automatically on every agenda. And we were looking at it
So
before
many
and going,
times.
wait a minute, where is that? So
Okay, so
So
Zarsky made the motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now they
Opposed?
have to accept your
Aye.
recommendation, so.
Yeah, Dave made the motion
I
and
made-
Rob
and-
seconded.
Okay, so you can still make the motion, okay.
Yep.
SBAA,
So I'm sorry, who was opposed?
I was.
Okay. Okay.
ready?
Yep,
SBAA,
They're running office space at NWTC through January. Louise is targeting a final option for 2020 to be presented to our board at the January meeting. It's the main item of note.
tourism zone.
Meets on Thursday.
Have you heard anything more about legislation that was introduced by Joel Kitchens at the state level for targeting how the tax is paid?
No, because the last month's meeting was executive session only, and from my understanding, that was possibly one of the topics, so we may find out some, and I could report back to you.
I talked to Joel this morning.
Can you
Search made for-
enlighten us on the background?
Oh, this has to do with when taxes are remitted by Airbnbs and VRBOs, that it goes to zip code rather than
Right.
property. And
Okay.
so, Liberty Grove isn't getting the funds they're supposed to get. We're oftentimes getting more than we should, and that's throughout the county where you have zip codes that cover multiple municipalities. Because they just take one check to 54234 and send it. So it appears to be gaining traction, because it's not just here that it's happening, it's anywhere within the state. And it appears, so Joel was one of the major sponsors, he's got quite a few people signed up to it, and they're hopeful that, so maybe not this legislative session, but potentially the next one, it'll get done, where they will be required to remit it by property rather than by zip code. So then the Airbnbs of the world would then have to send a check to the village of Sister Bay and list the properties that that check was issued against. And that way you could make certain it was going to being credited to the appropriate properties in the appropriate municipality.
But they'll only do that if they want to. That may become too problematic for it. Like, what we have to do within them is we have to upcharge, account for that tax, we collect it, we remit it the proper way. They're trying to evolve to be able to do that. I know they're working at it, but,
We's who?
well, I shouldn't say we, Airbnb and VRBO are working at this.
Yes.
that change, which makes complete sense, is probably another hurdle that they'll be like, oh, screw it, you know?
But they're running into us across the United States.
Of course they are, but at the end of the point, they don't necessarily have to care.
They've
You know,
been,
the property owner has to care. The person that's collecting the money and in charge of paying room tax has to care. We have to care because we manage properties. If it becomes too complicated for them, they'll just probably not care. And then it'll go back to how it is right now, where we have to figure it out. It'd be great if it would be that way.
they've been getting sued by communities similar to Door County
My
throughout the
understanding is
country.
that there was over 200
Yeah,
lawsuits.
and the only reason.
Which is costing them a heck of a lot more than putting a system in place to.
The only reason they actually started working on this is because they're on the verge of being bought by Amazon, which would essentially require them to be doing this. That's the only reason they're starting to even put a foot forward on this, so. But I'll
So
let
I
you know
know
if
that's
anything else comes
one
up.
of the things in the mix that's
Yeah.
fine. And that's one of the things that the Door Kiwanee Legislative Days pushed this last year, was to get a sponsor to do that. And Joel was gonna try and do that, but he wanted to make sure he had enough other sponsorship and support within the balance of the legislature in order to do that. He now feels he has it, and so the bill has been
It'd be great.
sponsored and pushed forward.
It would be, it'd be great for everybody if that happens. They've just fought it a long time, so we'll see.
Utilities.
We didn't have a meeting. Don't you love the month of December?
We are still waiting for the reply back from Liberty Grove concerning the wastewater treatment plant legal issue that's going on. Based on the last meeting that we had, Pat and I and Val, the league attorney, and Randy, and met with them, and we're still waiting. It's been 2 months now.
Yeah, they wanted to try to have a meeting in November, I thought it was.
So we're waiting on that, but that's where that particular issue sits.
I thought that there was a time frame that had
There
already
was.
lapsed.
Well, the judge was like, let's go. I don't know when the next one, it was like a 90-day extension or something, I thought. But I think that's like January or February. We wanted to meet in November
I
because
think
it was
I
soon.
think it was January 8th, is what
Yeah.
pops in my head, right?
Sydney?
Yep.
Should we send a letter to somebody just for whatever purpose to?
Val has contacted them on a regular ongoing basis. My understanding is, and I have not spoken to him directly, but my understanding is he's contacted Liberty Grove. Liberty Grove informed him that they are working on some things. I do know that they also, under Freedom of Information Act, requested information from us concerning capital equipment and pricing and capital put in by both parties for things that were done in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I think what happened is we presented them a plan that Bob Cuffin put together for us, and I think they're verifying and validating the numbers and the depreciation schedule, and just making sure that all the numbers were in Bob's number, I think is what they're trying to do. And which means they're going to probably, I would anticipate they come back with a counter offer to what we offered them numbers-wise for a couple of different options. Ute Center.
Slime Fest 2 will be February 22nd, Saturday, at the Village Hall. Preparations are underway.
What's the maximum age that you can participate in Slime Fest?
There's no age limit. There's no age limit, you know. I mean, basically, on space, we have to contain ourselves, like what we learned last year, is we contained ourselves to basically marketing it just to the elementary age group at Gibraltar. And really, if we would've had more, we wouldn't have been able to fit them, you know. I mean, we had over almost 80 people there between the chaperones and the students, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
A little volcano or some kind of explosion.
So, too bad there's not a balcony where adults could go on the top. Ad hoc ice rink committee, already covered that. Emergency management.
Yeah, January, we're gonna get together. Mondays, you still said work good for you, right, Chad?
Sure.
Like 2 in the, 1, 2?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, either way. The first Monday when we have parks is gonna be an issue, though. because not only is there parks, but I'll be gone. So, put that in your heads for maybe trying to change that.
I was thinking maybe the third week in January,
Okay,
you know, get us through the new year and everybody all settled.
sure.
And then I'll contact Chris tomorrow.
Is there anything else, based on our committee reports, to be added to future agenda, referred to committee official or employee? If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.